Hello everyone. I just wanted to make a guide to basically help with gold making. So some things are going to be a little more basic, some things are going to be a little more advanced, but a lot of these things you can do pretty much right off the bat at the start of the game, and some will be requiring a little more skill. So first I wanted to mention when you buy a house or get one of your free houses, you can get this armory station in the Crown Store. So it's a free thing you can get. One sec, in furniture, yeah, free, right here. So this thing here can let you switch between your builds. So what I recommend using the armory station to have two different builds. So your DPS, tank, heal, whatever build is your first build. And then a second build I recommend for crafting. You can buy more builds. I have a third one. I just use it as an empty build just to kind of build and test things. But you will get two when you first start. So I'll refer back and forth about the builds during this video. So right now I'm sticking in the crafting build just to go over the first part. So the first one's more of an easy basis starter kind of thing. Most people are familiar with this one already, but I will say it anyways. The first one is to do your daily RITS. So if you're not sure what your daily RITS are, every profession, like crafting wise, has a RIT you can do for it. So, you know, the blacksmithing, the clothes crafting, and so forth. So you'll go to these signs, equipment crafting RITS, and it'll have a bunch of different RITS for you. The jewel crafting one will require you to go to Summerset and do a quest to get that one done. But for the most part, if you learn how to do these professions, then you can do all the RITS. And everyone can learn how to do the professions. It's just a matter of how many points you want to put into them. So we'll just do the RITS quick. You can feel free to skip forward on this part if you're familiar with RITS already. Oh. Apparently you need to quit one more. Let's use this one. Alrighty. So, RITS are pretty simple. They require you to craft something on the base of how far you are within a skill. So if I go into crafting and I go to alchemy, for example, I'm 50 alchemy. So my RITS are going to be based off of my proficiency and my skill. If I don't have anything in proficiency, it's going to be making me do basic things still, like level 1 alchemy related things. Same with blacksmithing. If I don't have anything into metalworking, it's going to be making me do simpler stuff. So the better RITS are based off of how high your skill is and how much you put into pretty much the first thing in each list. So, you know, your potency in enchanting, your engraver in jewel crafting, and so forth. So I will just go over them. They're pretty fast, pretty easy. So for example, in the clothing one right here, it wants me to create these three things. So I'll go into creation. It's going to want to use the highest cloth you are able to work with. And then you can use whatever style you want. Usually I just go with whatever one I have the most of. So there's the first, that's the clothing one. Move on to the jewel crafting one. And you're going to try to do them every day because you can do this quest every day. You can do your RITS each day. And what's great about doing your RITS is, as I mentioned, the higher skill you have, the better rewards you can get for your RITS. So just a moment here. This one is the woodworking one. Oh, oh yeah, I'm doing it right, perfect. Then moving on to the blacksmithing one. So you'll have a RIT quest per crafting spec. I mean, not per spec, per crafting talent. So blacksmithing, your clothing, the woodworking, your cooking, alchemy. So last one, cooking. Alright, so I'm just going to confirm quick. I have completed them all. So once again, like I mentioned, if you're familiar with RITS, feel free to skip this part. I'll be getting into more advanced stuff afterwards. So RITS aren't going to be in the same spot every single map, but you'll accept it off the boards in every map, and then after you complete them, you will find these delivery crates in each city. You can even hand them in any delivery crate in any city. So you will get a reward coffer per each RIT you complete. So completing RITS will give you the coffers, as I mentioned. So I'll go in my inventory, I'm going to go to consumables containers, and it will give you a bunch of different items for that profession. But what's great is sometimes, for example, right here, tempering alloy. If you look at the price for what TTC suggests here, the Tamriel Trade Center add-on, that's what it sells for. So, which is actually a pretty decent profit off of basically just doing something that just took me a couple minutes. So, it's very beneficial to do because you can also, for example, this item here is great. You can get the next step above the grains, which actually sells for even a lot more, if you're lucky, of course. You can get recipes sometimes that actually sell for a fair amount. Rosin, 3K there. So basically, you're going to be looking at anywhere between 10 to 30K depending on how lucky you are with RNG. So the next step I would want to cover is going to Craiglorn to farm Nern. So I'm going to go to Craiglorn here. This is an add-on called Beam Me Up. So instead of having to go to your wayshrines, you can just type in and teleport to a friend or guildmate that's in that area. I like to use that just because it's easier than walking to a wayshrine and it doesn't cost anything. Okay, so once you're in Craiglorn, if you're familiar with this one as well, feel free to skip going more forward. But in Craiglorn, there is an item that drops off of harvesting nodes. It's called Crux. Let's see. There's Fortified and Potent. So Potent sells for, I believe, between 25 to 30, from what I remember. Oh no, it might be even more than that, but it sells for a fair amount. So Fortified only sells around the 9 to 10K area. So when you go to this map, you will notice, like every other map, you'll notice plants, wood, or anything pretty much, all the different harvesting nodes. So I have an add-on called Harvest Maps. So it does a little pointer over harvesting nodes. So you see that green pointer there, points over here. If you also notice on my compass map at the top, it also points to other things that are close to me. So if I harvest them, or anyone else harvests them, it removes the symbol. But essentially what you're trying to do here is you're trying to notice all harvest nodes you can find. You can avoid monsters and whatnot if you want to, or you can fight them. Right now I'm in my crafting build, so I prefer to try to avoid fighting. But the Nern Crux can drop off of any type of harvesting node. So it's very beneficial to do this. If you get lucky, you can get some good drops. I would say that, you know, I wouldn't say the drop rate's extremely high or anything. I typically find, you know, anywhere between 3 to 5 within an hour, maybe more sometimes. It also helps if you have points into your champion points, but that comes if you're more of an advanced level. So like if you go into your champion points, one second here, into craft, this one here, All right, so this one helps with reducing the time it takes to harvest. So this one's a great one here. And I believe there was some more in crafting. I could be wrong. Either way, so you can do this method. I would say this one's more for if you're a lower base level. But it works great regardless. You know, sometimes you can get really good luck, sometimes you don't. Unfortunately, it's all RNG. You know, sometimes I make a fair amount of money off of doing this. This is kind of what I did when I first started farming gold. You know, right now my RNG doesn't seem the best, but it's all random, so that's what it really comes down to. So I'm just going to walk away from this one. Another method is fishing. So you can fish and you have a chance to find perfect ROE. So this one sells for decent. As you can see, TTC says around 76 to 95. But I will be honest, the drop rate from fishing these things is extremely low. I would say, you know, I've fished probably from an hour to 2, and I see one maybe every hour to 2, 1 per hour to 2 per hour at most. But, you know, I've never seen more than 2 an hour. I would say, you know, my luck typically says 1 either an hour or 1 every 2 hours. Once again, it's all RNG. You can't really control it. Alrighty, so the next step I would suggest, as you notice with farming the nodes, you can get all these different plants, flowers, wood, so forth. So what it comes down to is there's a lot of players, if you're familiar with paying attention to chat, you'll see some players type in big messages about things that they are buying. And sometimes you'll look at it and you'll be like, wow, you know, that's not impressive, that price or whatever. But sometimes you can find people that actually buy a lot of items. And typically what they do is they try to buy, for example, I'll use the wood as an example here. So when you get the wood, we're going to go to my crafting bag here, or anything right here. For example, wormwood, right? They will say buying bulk wormwood 150. And if you notice right here, TTC suggests 190 to 238. What you can do is you could pay attention to these people of what they buy. And what I typically do, I'm not afraid to message them or anything, I will message them and I will ask for a mailers list. So they will go out of their way and they will send you a list of things that they are buying. There's also on the maps in the treasure chest. So you can go into treasure chests and you can find crafting ingredients, for example, like ancient stone here. So ancient stone sells for 1,000 to 1,500. I know it says 300, but I've sold it for 1,500 before. Crafting ingredients always sells for a lot. So going around and collecting wood is very beneficial, not just for Nern, but also for heartwood. You can get heartwood from cottonwood, and so as well as Nern. But back to what I'm saying about the buyer list. If you can message someone and ask them for their buyer list, they'll give you a huge list of items that they're buying. Sometimes even heartwood's on the list, you know, a lot of different things. So typically what I do is I get a notepad, I write everything they're buying, and then what I do is I go to the website, and I'll pull it up over here. I go to Tamriel Trade Center, and I look up the item they're looking for. So, for example, I'll go to Heartwood. So, you know, let's say the person said they were buying it for $12.50 or whatever, right? So then I would go here and I'd say, oh, this person right here is selling $9.50, 10. They're selling 10 for $9.50. Well, then you know that if the person that you talk to buys them for $12.50 and they sell it for $1,500, you know you can make a quick profit. So you can go to this website for anything, you know, and typically buy anything below the $12.50 mark. So if you're going to meet up with this person instead of sending it COD, then, you know, if you send it COD, you're going to take a hit on your profit. If you can find a person that's willing to meet up with you in person and do the sell/trade, it's way better. So, as for example, right here, 1,087, 57 of them. So you buy it for the 1,087 and sell it to them for 1,250. You know, it does go up more and more and more and more and more and more. So another one I believe that I do really well with is the ethereal dust. You will see a lot of people that are buying ethereal dust for some really crazy numbers. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. So for example, I've gotten lucky before and I've gotten it for around the 650 mark. And I've had people do buyer lists that buy it for anywhere between 750 to 850. So if you get lucky and you buy one for 680 and you sell it for 750 to a buyer list person, you know, that's a big profit. And you just keep doing this with everything that they have the list. So you get a nice list, you buy whatever they want on their list, and then you sell it to them. That way you're not dealing with the auction house / guild traders. You know, you're not taking any cuts. You can definitely do work with the guild traders. And I'm not saying, you know, working with guild traders is a bad thing or anything, because I do that as well. Myself personally, I'm in 3 trading guilds right now. I'm going to be in 5. I like to sell on the guild trader myself personally. But, you know, the buyer's list really works well if you're noticing that the items you're trying to sell is more beneficial to sell to a trader than, you know, on the guild house. Then it just works a lot better for yourself, and it's a lot more beneficial. So the next step I would cover is farming for furnishings and motif plans. So this one works a lot better if you do have champion points and points into homemaker. If you read that there, it gives you a 10% chance of finding more furnishing plans. And it does add up and does make a difference later on. But I could show you a couple places that I typically farm and work on. You know, sometimes you get really good luck, sometimes not so much, but it's all RNG as I've explained before. So I go to this place here, and this one actually has quite a few good places that you can get stuff from. So here you can get furnishing plans for rugs and other stuff, and some of the stuff sells for really, really good. But you got to make sure that you notice it is stealing. So you got to pay attention for the guards. Okay, so it's only the 2 cabinets in here that I typically go to. So we're in Murkmire, Lilmoth. And I like going to this place because I've had pretty good luck with it before. You know, you can get rugs that actually sell for a lot of money. You can get the furnishing and the furnishing plans, but you can also get walkways for your house that sell for a lot of money as well. Nothing there. I'll come back to that one. Nothing there. So if you notice that I did get a plan there, it doesn't sell for anything too impressive. Nothing there. Let's take a peek. Nothing there. Nothing. Nothing. Whoops. Alright, I'll just take a peek in that last one that we missed on the way out. Over here. Let's just take a look. See? Nothing. Okay, so I didn't get lucky here. Not a big deal. We'll move on to the next place. So next is Summerset. So in Summerset, we will be going to Shimmerene. But let's see where it teleported me to. One moment here. All right, so we're now in order. Oh, right here. One moment. So if you notice all the craziness on my map, that is Harvest Map, and it shows me where all the node locations are, such as treasure chest, harvest nodes, and everything. If that's something you're interested in learning more of, feel free to comment, and I can give a guide on how to get Harvest Map and how to use it properly. All right, so right now we went to Shimmerene here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the top all the way up to over here. So once again, this is more furnishing plans and motifs. So we're going to go all the way up to the top. So on our way there, another great thing is to do, while you go into delves, urns are a fantastic way of finding furnishing plans. And you can find really crazy furnishing plans in them. So whenever you go into delves, dungeons, or anything like that, urns, backpacks, all that type of stuff is really good things to search in. And a lot of delves you can find like many urns, lots and lots of urns in them. Don't ever be afraid to search urns because it's very beneficial. All right, so in this building, you're going to want to go into all the wardrobes. You're going to want to go into pretty much everything you can find. That's right in the entrance. All right, so I got a recipe there for garlic and steak. That, honestly, it's not a good one, but it could be anything you get when you walk into these doors. So that one that was a recipe there, it could have been anything. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the ones I just showed you at the front here. You can hit this one here, and then you're going to go upstairs. Once you're upstairs, in a lot of these rooms, they have wardrobes. So you're going to hit all the wardrobes. And then you have the trunks at the base of the beds. You're going to hit the trunks on the base of the beds. Then the cabinets above the beds. So if you leave and do these rotations, I think there's one more in the next row. Oh, no, next one over. So then you're going to go into this one. Here, I believe there's some more stuff. Jewelry box. Yeah, those are just bookshelves. I know there was one more. That one. Here it is, last room. So it's going to be the first one room and the last room. You got more in the wardrobes and the coffers. So I got Design Plums Bunch. We'll take a look how that is in 1 second here. Okay, so let's just take a peek at this one here. You go back here, all. So I got a grinding stone, not too much. Plums, not too much either. But as I mentioned, it could be really anything you get from these. So don't be discouraged if you get some greens or whatever. Lots of different things can come from them. So next step, we'll be going to Hiles. So this Hiles one was really beneficial at the start of Hiles, but now that there's the new DLC and the event that came out that had Hiles as one of the main priority areas to go in, so a lot of the furnishings did go down, but there is a lot of furnishings that still are worth a lot. So you're going to go Hiles, and then you're going to teleport to this wayshrine right here. I'm not even going to pronounce that, so you're going to have to read it. So this is the wayshrine you'll go to. This is also an area where you can get one of the companions from my memory here. 1 second, allies. I believe you get Ember right here. Ember the companion. So there's a quest person that can give that to you just on the road down here. Anyways, so you're going to go into this building up here. And, you know, it's all hit or miss. You know, sometimes I get lucky here, sometimes I don't. But typically what I like to do is I keep an old character in this building. So someone that I don't play that much, I'll literally have them just sitting here. So it's like when I go to log on to play, I'll just leave an alt here. I'll quickly hit all the things in here. So as you saw the motif there, once again, as I mentioned, it could be anything. It could be a crafting plan, motif, really anything. So it's majority of the ones up there. The rest of the stuff isn't too important down here. It's just a couple random items. But as I mentioned, it's always beneficial just to keep one character in here and then just log into that character before you start playing your main character. So next would be Northern Elsweyr. So we're going to head to Elsweyr, and we're going to head to Rimmen. So I'm on my way there in one moment. Perfect. So we're going to go to Rimmon, which I got lucky and I was here. So Rimmen's up here. If you have the house here, you can teleport to it, Hall of the Lunar Champion. So you're going to head up to right here, this building. So we're going to go up. And you're going to go right over here. I realized I went a little fast for the Murkmire / Lilmoth one. So I'm just going to click and just tell you quick about where that was. So when you go to Lilmoth, Murkmire, you're going to go to the building right here where the bank is. So you're going to come from the wayshrine and you're going to run to right where the bank is. You're going to hit the bank building that had the two things beside it. Then you're going to come up here. You're going to go into the crafting building here. And then you're going to hit all the things in here. You go across and hit all the things in there. Then you're going to exit the building, and then you're going to go into the Outlaws Refugee here. And then once you go in there, it will reset. You can come back out, and you can hit them again. So then you can come out here, come in, hit this, go to the bank, then cycle back and forth, back and forth. And once again, this one was Lilmoth and Murkmire. That's the one where you can get the carpets, rugs, and ramps. So my apologies, I didn't go through that one very much. All right, so once you're in Rimmon, if you have the Hall of Lunar Champion house, you can just step out here, come out, go into here. This is a fantastic house to get. I don't know if many people know about it. It's actually a free house that you can get from doing quests in Northern and Southern Elsweyr. And you can also have to do some dungeons. But it's a huge house. It's one of the biggest houses you can get that's non-paid. So once you go into the building here, you are going to loot the nightstand. Then you're going to come in here, desk, wardrobe if it's available, wardrobe, trunk, wardrobe. Okay, so I just got a recipe from that one. I'm not sure if it's worth anything. But you hit all of them, then typically what I do is I go across. Okay, that's not lootable. Wardrobe again. Wardrobe. Nightstand. Desk. All right, then you're going to make your way up. Not sure if I leave this one. No, there's this desk here as well. Then you'll make your way up. You will go into here. Wardrobe. There's an urn here. Make sure you get that. Remember, as I mentioned, get urns. They could be this size, small, urns just in general in delves and dungeons. have great drop rates for crazy recipes from urns. I don't typically make a guide for that because I always say just get it while you're on your go in a dungeon or whatnot. Okay, so you can do that method. You could repeat over and over and over going through these. Go from each building to each building, as I mentioned. Another good method is to find NPCs to loot. So pickpocket. You're gonna have to get your pickpocketing up decently high. So that one is a little harder to work with, but it is possible. So you'd go to World for that one, and you're going to go to, I believe it's Ledgerman here. Oh no, it's not Ledgerman. One sec here. So, oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so in your Ledgerman, you're going to want to get your hiding up. It's very beneficial. You're going to want to get up your pickpocketing. So it increases your chance of successfully pickpocketing. So with Ledgerman, you can get it up to 20. And if that's what you want to do for that one, as I mentioned, I have two different builds. So I have my DPS build, and then I have this build here. So my crafting build has all the thieving stuff in it. It has all the crafting things that I find beneficial. And it has points in the champion points for faster harvesting, better extracting, 10% gain to get double resources, the homemaker one that I've already talked about. So with pickpocketing, what's beneficial is to do royals, which is hard. You can do guards as well, but I don't find that I get that much luck with guards. But a really beneficial one to do is drunks. If you find drunks, I always pickpocket drunks because drunks have a chance for a Skooma Bubbler recipe. You can get the bubbler from them as well, but the recipe is where it's at. The recipe sells for around 1 million gold. You know, I've seen it sell for like 750,000 to 1.5 million. It really varies the ballpark area, but it's really, really good recipe to work with. Another method I do is I go to Coldharbour. When you do Coldharbour, there is a luxury furnisher every week. So every weekend, from Friday to Sunday night, there is a luxury furnisher. So I can show you where that's located.
You have come.
Let's get around this person here. So in Coldharbour, you're going to go to the Hall of City. Teleport there. Once you're at Coldharbour, you're going to go up here. And this method requires you to actually have some money. So I wouldn't recommend this one until you do the other methods and actually score a decent amount. Especially doing the Nurncrux one as well as the buy low from from guild traders and sell higher to player buyers. But every weekend, right over here, right here, so on the map, you will see right here, there's a normal home good furniture and achievement one. Right here, you'll see a chair here that will spawn during the weekend on your map. So this person here sells very rare furnishings. These furnishings, typically, they'll have one cheap one, and then the other ones vary from 20,000 to as high as, I believe I've seen a 500K one on there. But I would say 20,000 to 200,000 is the average. You want to buy those, bank them, and sell them later. That method works amazing. You will make a lot of money off buying those and selling them later. So I'm going to go to my house here, and this is more of the last one I'm going to cover. So as I mentioned, between the personal buyers, when you buy from the guild trader using the Tamriel Trade Center website, you buy the items low, you sell them high. Same idea when you buy these furnishings. These luxury furnishings only sell on the vendor once a week, and they're different every week. So if someone misses it and it's really cool furniture, you know, they will be disappointed. So we're going to go in my house right now. We're going to go into my bank for a moment for the last one here. So ESO has a lot of events. These events typically have like items in a crate that you can get from either dungeons, events, bosses, even farming, what's it called, harvesting notes. So what I do, there was one not that long ago that had, I'm just gonna type in motif here. So what I do during these events is you can get different motifs at these events. So you can either farm them or you can buy them off of vendors. So for example, like the Hollowjack ones here, they say they sell for 1,000 to 1,400. This event wasn't that long ago, so that price is probably pretty accurate. But around the event, people were giving them away free. People would give them to you for 100 gold, 200 gold, 300 gold. I found them on vendors for 70 to 150. So, you know, once again, I would use, for example, let's say if we use Hollowjack bows as an example. I would use the Tamriel trade website, and let's say that event's still going on right now. Oh, spelled it wrong. So let's say the event's going on right now, and, you know, I'm going to get the Hollowjack bow. I'm going to go price low to high. And it's like, oh, as I mentioned, 150, 500. So what I'll do during the event is I will go and I will find these and I'll buy them for the 150 to 500 mark. I will make sure that it is lower than the TT suggested value, a significantly amount lower. So like as you saw the 150 to 500 mark, typically I wouldn't buy anything that was above 1,000. I would always buy it if it was below the 1,000 mark. So during these events, they will have a bunch of motifs. They will have, you know, a bunch of different things. As you can see in my bank here, like I have motifs galore, lots and lots of them. So, you know, like example, like these ones here. So usually they'll have a purple and then a style page one. The style page being the yellow and the other ones being purple. The style page ones, I found these ones for lower than 5,000. So I bought them all. You know, and they say they sell anywhere between 22,000 or 20,000 or 18,000 and higher. You buy them, you sit on them. So then you'll get style pages. So typically, as I mentioned, they have the motifs and the style pages. So these ones here, especially there was the one event that had the opals. So the opal ones sold for a fair amount. So right here, as it says, for example, this greatsword here, I have 39 of them. These opal items that was during the one event was a drop you can get from a crate for killing a dungeon boss. It was from the Undaunted event. So you do the Undaunted event and it requires you to go in and kill a boss. Any dungeon, any boss, and you would get a crate. And in these crates, it had chance for motifs, furnishings, opal motifs, style pages, and so forth. So what you do during these events is you buy these items really low. So for example, these opal greatswords, the reason why I have so many of them is because I bought so many of them for under 1,000. As it says, there are 481 listings right now. So it's going to be a while before you can sell them, but you know, you can get lucky and find one. Like for example, these daggers here. I know these daggers can sell for over 100k because even during the event, they were selling for over 100k. I bought these for below 10,000. So you buy these for lower prices, you sell them high. You just gotta be patient. And as you can see, you know, for me, it has worked. I have been lucky. So I buy the furnishers during the luxury days, weekends, and then I sell them later on. And you can get all these different houses. Like I have dump houses, what I call them. It's houses where I buy and I literally just dump all these furnishings in them. But then, you know, also with bank space, like with bank space, I have a bunch of furnishings that, you know, I bought from the vendors or events. So as I was mentioning, during these events, you can get furniture as well. So there was a bunch of high aisle ones. There was a high aisle one not that long ago. So I had all these different high aisle ones, right? So you could find people on the map that was selling the furnishings. You can find recipes for these furnishings during the event and everything. So you can type in, buying event furniture, buying event motifs, and so forth, and, just look at the item versus how much they're selling for. Just build it all together and just kind of give a mental inventory about how much you sold and bought them for it. I would recommend making a spreadsheet. If you don't want to do that time, then, the other rule I have is if I don't make a spreadsheet, I will only buy stuff up for $1,000, well, not $1,000, but 1,000 gold value. So for example, this mirror, this sells 8 to 10,000. I would only buy it for 10K. I mean, not 10K, 1K. If it sells for 100K, then I will buy it for 10K. Buy 10 to 15% value of what it actually is selling on the market. So later on you're going to make anywhere between 5 to 10 times the value minimum of what you purchased it for. So style motifs, furniture, usually is during events, motifs during the events. Never sell it during the events, always bank it. Just bank it, even if you're desperately low on money. Bank it. Just bank it, bank it, bank it. And if you find that you're running out of room from furniture, get a dump house. Buy the cheapest house you can find in the housing system. So, cheapest house you haven't collected. Find the cheapest one, go there, preview, buy it. Dump all the furniture there. You can pick up the furniture later and sell it. It's always beneficial to dump it, pick it up when you're low money and sell it. But just wait the time period. Sometimes it's going to take a month, sometimes it's going to take 2 months, sometimes it takes a week. The values go up and down. Like these statues here were on the luxury vendor at some point, and they were much cheaper than what they sell for now. So, I dump the statues just in the lobby of my house. I may keep them, I may sell them, but I do have extras. So, I can sell them later. People go crazy for furniture. Same with the style plans and the motifs. So once again, just to wrap it up, do your daily RITS. Farm Craiglorn for Nern. You can get it off any harvestable node out there except water and fishing. Water and fishing, I can't say I'm certain about it, but I'm pretty positive you can. Do player buyer lists. If you see someone selling a bunch of stuff or buying a bunch of stuff, make friends with these people. Ask them for mailer lists. You can ask them, just send them a message and say, I typically farm stuff all the time. Can you send me a buyer list? They will send you a list in your mailbox, and then you can adjust your prices accordingly. A lot of people like to buy the Cyrodiil oranges. You can find them super cheap on the Trade Center, Tamriel Trade Center website. Super cheap. Sometimes I've gotten like huge, crazy profits off of it. Buying 200 oranges for such a stupid price and then selling them for such a crazy high price. After that, there is the house farming, furniture farming. So you go to Murkmire, Summerset, Hiles, Northern Elsweyr. Even the new map that the DLC is on. Always try to go to the newest map that's available because they have new furnishing. And new furnishings sell for a lot of money. Everyone wants the newest thing. So then, as I mentioned, there's events. There's usually events going on all the time. There isn't one right now, so I can't give an example. But, event furnishing, event motifs, these items are limited items that usually come out during the event. Some of them aren't, but some of them are. So, there's like Halloween items and so forth. The Hallowjack ones, as I showed you, are Halloween ones. These are very beneficial to get and hold on to. I know sometimes it sucks waiting a long period of time, but, sometimes you'll wait and wait and wait, and you'll find someone to buy it for like a crazy price. The last one's more of a weird one, and it's kind of funny, but you'll see people posting games in chat where they'll say, come find me, for 1 mil. And sometimes, they're truthful. I've won weird contests before. This one guy did this event where he said, first person to find me can get anything from the Crown Store. I didn't believe it to be true, but I found him, and he bought me the Jode's Embrace house. So, sometimes it's truthful, sometimes it's not. If you have some time to waste, give it a shot, see what happens. There's also people that have, you know, event guilds where, you know, they'll make big event guild houses, or they'll hold, you know, an event once a week, once a month, or so forth, you know, and you can find crazy stuff from that. So other than that, that's all I can recommend. You know, I can make a video if people are interested in, you know, using the guild/auction house sellers, but this one was more of not using those, but I can make a video about how to use those effectively. But that would be more based off of me telling you to use the Tamriel Trade Center add-on or the website. The add-on makes it so that you can just see the price there at the bottom, but the website tells you what guild vendor is selling them for the cheapest. So as I mentioned, I'll pull that up one last time here. So, you know, this person right here, trader, that's the person that's selling it. This is the location. So you will go to that location. I would recommend not going to anything longer than an hour, because typically if it's been there for an hour, it's usually gone. So 1 hour is my top mark. If it's been there longer than an hour, I don't bother, because 9 out of 10 times it's gone. So around 25 minutes to 35 minutes is the golden point. 1 minute to 5 minutes, pretty much is guaranteed to be there. Have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, let me know. But that's the basis of it. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and take care. Bye now.